Hello, word nerds. Happy Sunday and welcome to our final live chat of 2022, which is kind of wild, but also it feels like it's been a really long time. Like this has been a long year. So we have made it to the end and we are here to talk about all things goals, how we did this year, any plans for next year, all of that fun stuff. But to kick us off, I want to mix it up a little bit. So our opening question is going to be, what is something you did this year that you never would have considered making a goal for, but was still exciting or you were proud of, or just like a big surprise? So, Kyra. I'm not used to being in the middle when I host, so I had to just go with it.
One thing that I did this year that kind of surprised me was I picked up embroidery. That's I don't think this time last year I was like even looking for a craft to do, but I don't even really remember how I got into it, but I did, and have really been enjoying it, making some fun things, and I'm doing some things for Christmas that I'm giving to people that I'm very excited about, and yeah.
Awesome.
That's really cool. Erin.
I have always had a goal of going to Ireland, and I went this year. So that was really amazing. And it was surprising because I thought I would plan that like for ages and ages before I went, but it was really just a matter of my family being like, hey, we should book our trip to Ireland now. And then it was like a few months before we went, it felt like. So yes, but we were there for 10 days and it was very, very cool, like lifelong goal achieved. So
that is awesome.
I moved to the same city as another word nerd. Wasn't 100% planning on that being this year. Thought it would be another year or two before that maybe happened, but it's very exciting, very fun. We've seen each other a lot.
Everyone started to show up in the comments. I did have a quick like, oh no, is there an extra chat somewhere? I think we're okay. Welcome to everybody in the chat. Megan.
So for anyone who hasn't known, I'm in my 30s and went back to school a couple of years ago, and I had to start retaking math from the ground up, and didn't expect to do horribly because, you know, when you're 30 and you go back to school, you anticipate you'll put in whatever work is needed to not mess it up. But I was surprised to find this year that I'm actually like pretty good at math, and I enjoyed it, which was very surprising. So I think I took 3 math classes.
Take that, triangles.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was very surprising and fun.
For me, I was a campaign manager on a political campaign. That was just a lack of volunteers.
I forgot you did that.
Wrong time, right place. We lost. It was never going to be a thing that we won, but it was cool. So I did
That's something to add to your resume.
Right. I don't know. Then I have to talk about it. Yeah. Did you win? No.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But still, the experience is there.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you did something cool.
Cool and unexpected, like, or I guess if you pulled off something you've been dreaming of for years too, that's always a good as well.
Yeah, as we're looking ahead to next year's goals, and I don't have any yet. Well, it's something. I'm currently at a hotel, and this time last year I made my goals for this year, so I'll probably do the same. But nice. I'm trying to leave room for like surprises and such. So I figured that'd be a fun note to start out on. Did anyone have goals this year? How did they go
this year?
I got a full-time job that isn't like, I've worked freelance for almost 10 years and I loved it so much, but I really hated the lack of stability. And so one of my really, really big goals was to get like a full-time job. And I didn't know if it could happen this year, but it did. And it's great. I love it.
I also got a full-time job this year and had kind of like, I didn't know I'd get one, but I knew I'd be looking because I was on like a temporary kind of like year-long contract prior that I knew was ending in August. So that was also very nice for me to actually be able to do that because it was a lot of stress.
Honestly, great year for jobs for word nerds.
Yeah, I also got a new full-time job, which I don't think was a goal at the beginning of the year, but became a goal throughout the year. Very exciting.
And Kelly's working a very cool video game job. Got to watch her in action.
I had more fun watching Emma's husband. So one of the games I work with is a VR game, so watching him like just do wild things in VR.
Oh, I
was
saw that
amazing.
on Instagram or Facebook or whatever that was on.
I now have a video of some of his artwork, so I will send that along. For me, I'm also in my 30s, and this year is the first year I'm legally allowed to drive by myself as an adult person. So that was a pretty big one for me.
That's awesome. It's not a goal, but I moved into a new house that's not attached to any other houses, which is a major, like, I've always dreamed of, like, because I grew up in homes that were not attached. Like, I didn't grow up in condos because we always rented these like big old sprawling farmhouses. They were gross and falling apart, but like we didn't have neighbors that you could like hear banging on the walls and stuff. So I always had that like goal someday to get into like a house instead of a condo. So we finally did that this year, and that has been, our neighbors are close. They're close enough that I could lean out and like, you know, touch the house next door, but nobody is banging on my walls, and it is magical. So
I'm gonna go bang on your walls.
You are welcome to fly to Canada and bang on my walls.
Middle of the night. Oh my god.
Some weirdo. Sean will be
Megan's like a little
"What's that?"
aggressive tonight before the
It's
chat.
fine.
She's like telling us how she's gonna haunt us all. And
Oh yeah, you've got
I'm just in a silly, goofy mood. I'm gonna
It'll be
run some
reenacted
live.
scene from Hill House, and you'll have
Yeah.
regrets about your enthusiasm.
Yeah,
Meaning she's just gonna show up at the end of my bed or something
aggressive friendship.
in the middle of the night.
Lots of fantastic achievements in the comments section. Musical Book Dragon graduated from community college and is now working towards their bachelor's degree. Andrew Walker finished up a stint working in Costa Rica, ended up staying for an extra 6 months.
Wow.
Joe Catherine bought a mermaid tail for the pool, not huge, but she's wanted one since
Yes.
she's 10, which is
That's
so
my
cool.
favorite goal achieved so far of the night.
the other two were also awesome goals. I just got a little hyperfixated on the
The mermaid tail. It's a fantasy goal you fulfilled.
Debbie took a Rhine River cruise from Amsterdam
Ooh.
down to,
Ooh.
I don't know how to say it, Basil?
Basil?
That sounds really nice.
That does sound amazing.
And Morgan started writing their first fantasy novel.
Yay!
Oh, very cool. Headphone
Ooh.
Books finished writing the book they've been working on since the start of COVID. Very
Wow.
nice.
Amazing.
I
It's
hope
gotta
you
feel
took
good.
yourself out for dessert or something after that, because that's an awesome achievement.
I honestly have no idea what my goals were at the beginning of the year.
I was just about to say,
Them.
I don't know if I even made any. Like, I know 2 years ago, me and my two friends got together and did like a goals party where we like drank lots of wine and like had poster board and wrote out like crazy goals and then also like achievable goals. And that was really fun. But I don't think last year that I actually sat down and even thought about goals for the next year. So
I'm sure one of my goals was probably to revise the book I wrote during last year's Nano, which has not happened.
Yeah,
that's now next year's goal.
I think usually my goal is like one new first draft, one revised draft. I have a very distinct memory of starting this year extremely pessimistically and very like, I don't know, maybe that'll be my goal. I guess I'll try that again. I don't actually know if I did that. I think I did that this year, or if I didn't, I'm about to, because I'm out of school for this semester now. So nothing's stopping me from finishing that half chapter.
Do it.
the only thing I really remember, because I don't think I set super like goalsy goals this year either. Because I do remember
Goalsy goals.
goals. I do remember that last year during Christmas break, I made Aaron and Megan get on a call with me where I was like very frustrated with many things, all things publishing. And like
That
having
doesn't sound like you.
no one who knows anything about me or has talked to me at any point during the past like 3 years of my life has heard that sentiment. But I was like, especially in a place where like I think finished Nano and then like taking some time, and I was like getting really itchy to write again because I don't do writing breaks very well. I get really itchy to write something, but also was like still very like in my head about like the industry and very frustrated about it. And so we together concocted, first of all, like Erin and Megan were great about like kind of restructuring our writing group so it would be a little more like what I needed at the time, which I really appreciated. But we like in this like little meeting over Christmas break came up with like this very like fun, like sort of passion project to work on, that I had so much fun with that I think I ended up writing it in like 4 months just because I was like flying through it.
Fast.
That's
fast.
amazing. Yeah.
And yeah, so that was really fun. I don't know if it was a goal per se. That book's like now being queried and it's not fun anymore. The book is still fun. The querying is not. It is not doing well there.
But your goal like was to kind of like we were all
Just to
talking
do
about
something I enjoyed. again.
exactly
Yeah.
like recapturing the joy of writing, and I feel like with that one you really did, because it was like 4 months is so fast.
It was 4 months,
like,
and I'd be like sitting in my like living room at like alone, like cackling to myself as I wrote things that I thought were hilarious. So
the best way to write, honestly.
yes, like, I can't wait till Erin and Megan get to read this.
I really like that doesn't happen for me a lot anymore. Just like sitting down, like I know I really love a project when I write during the day, but then after Charlie's in bed, if I write again, then I know I'm like really enjoying a project, and that does not happen a lot anymore. So I think finding the joy in your writing process is a huge thing.
I sent over the Word Nerd Bingo card in Slack. I'm on just like a random laptop and don't feel confident screen sharing. If anyone wants to throw that up, I know a lot of us haven't looked at this at all in a very long time, so we'll just see if anyone managed bingo.
I'll pull it
Oh,
up here.
definitely
Give me
not
just a
bingo.
sec.
I believe I got bingo.
Percent. Share screen. Share this one.
While Megan is doing that, and Griswold applied to a writing mentorship program, didn't get it, but was scared, and in the end, so happy I tried, which is a really
yay.
fantastic thing to be proud of.
Mhm.
Emmy had one goal, which was to finish their thesis, which I did, and got my master's degree. Absolutely
Awesome.
wonderful. I'm done now.
I figured while you were doing that, I would see if it would let me.
Make it bigger.
Yeah, and it did. So
All right.
Oh.
So our 4 outer corners are read 25 books each, write a short story, participate in Nano, read an author's debut.
Writing.
I did
related
so few
course.
of these.
Yeah, same.
I really wanted to fill an entire notebook. I did not even get close.
I was gonna say I really feel personally called
I
out by that
filled-
one.
this much of one would like not even half, and I was, trying.
Yeah, I get like 2 of the read 25 book squares because I'm like over
Yeah.
50.
I got 2 of them as well.
Clean your writing space.
I did that. I
technically
painted
did that 'cause
it.
I moved. Yeah, I
Yeah.
moved. Got a new writing space.
I think I got that last like column.
Yeah,
I did a
read
decent
between
number of
stories.
these, but they're not like in the not in a bingo way. So like
Yeah, I would have that last column, but I haven't beta read someone's book. So.
I actually miss beta read. I haven't done that in so long.
I'm gonna have a book that needs beta reading.
Yes, I'm excited.
and
I've
I
already
did
read
that
the
last
first one.
column except for read a complete series. I don't think I did that this year.
I read N.K. Jemison's Broken Earth trilogy.
Same.
I gotta add that
Yeah,
to
that
my
was the
list.
complete series.
Make a new writing friend. Did I do that? I actually
I
made a
did
bunch
that.
today. I was at a book signing at Indigo, and like 3 different writers came up to me and chatted. So I can take that box off. That's the only one.
If I can do 2 of the 25 books, since I did read 50, I think I can do from like the top right corner down to the
That's what I
bottom.
got too.
Yeah, I did write a complete first draft, and I did make a writing friend this year.
Nice.
Oh, and Griswold got the second to last column.
I'm
Ooh.
sure I read an author's debut. I don't know which book
Yeah.
I read qualifies as that, but I'm sure I did.
I want to print this off and put it on my wall.
I kind of want to like, should we revise it all for next year? I want to do more of these.
Yeah, I'd love to
Which I
do
paid
more.
more
of
attention
these.
to.
Mhm.
So these are like evergreen
Let's
things.
shuffle
Yeah.
them and run
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah. So I really
Yeah, I did
wanted-
a lot of these, but not in bingo order,
Mhm.
Yeah.
except for
I-
that one diagonal.
I would love to do a writers conference, but I don't even know that.
I
went to Vancouver.
volunteered at Right On Con, so I
Oh,
counted
nice.
that.
Nice.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid mix. So I will just shuffle them with the read 25 in the corners.
Yeah.
Call it a day.
I did Aaron Bowman's writing seminar that came with like a Discord. I'm gonna count that for a conference,
totally
even though it's
count
not quite a conference. It's not quite a conference, not quite a book on writing.
I think there's a writing
Oh, it's a
related
course.
on here. Yeah, there's a course.
I did that one. It was a great course. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you can get it on a sale.
Yeah, Megan, I feel like you probably have the second to last column.
I haven't finished a revision yet. I have
Do
to
it.
finish that last half chapter.
And if you had filled an entire notebook, you might have that middle row, but
Yeah,
Mm.
I didn't.
shame.
And it's like a diary of letters to my son. So really, I've let down two groups of people tonight.
My goodness.
feel
That's
like the last
cute
few
that you're
years I've
doing
been-
that.
I've aggressively donated books to good causes. Like I've gotten rid of so many books that I'd actually
So
have to
many.
like take a personal loss this time, but I'll do it for bingo.
I actually did donate some books this year, so I could check that off too. It's very unusual. It was painful. I made myself because I have no shelf space left and I still want to buy more books. So I forced myself to get rid of some of them.
And Griswold points out it didn't say finished, just revised.
You
You have
found me
done
the loophole. I did revise it.
it. All right, you can pull that down. And yeah, really doesn't feel like it needs any changes. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
Run it again.
Do that again this year.
Slap a 3 at the
Next year.
end.
Maybe I think I like was traveling or something when we made this last year because I have like almost no memory of it. I don't know.
Same.
If I paid more attention, I like I think almost every row it's like, well, I did all but one of these. So it's like I did enough things to get bingo. I just need to do the right things next year, I guess. I need to write a short story.
Ugh.
I'll pop this
I
in
feel
the
like maybe
Discord
one we
right
could-
now.
could change. And not just because I feel like it'll be difficult for me to pull it off 2 years in a row. It's like see a word nerd in person doesn't feel fair to everybody else.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw Leah this year. I did get to see Leah while I was in Ireland.
Did you not
so-
see Rachel this year?
Did I see Rachel this year?
Yeah, you
No.
guys saw her once.
You must
No?
have.
No, I
feel
think I
like you
was
did
going.
listen.
I thought
I feel
I think
like-
we were going to, and then we didn't. We weren't
Didn't
able
she
to.
go- Victoria with some of her
I
friends.
thought you guys saw each other in Vancouver and then things fell apart
At, like,
seeing
a
each other in
book
Victoria shortly after.
Maybe. I can't remember most of the first beginning of this year, so it's possible. But I know that we were going to get together, and then I think I was sick, something like that.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to get West Coast Vancouver
Yes.
this year because my
That'd be
husband's
awesome.
parents want to go on an Alaskan cruise for his dad's 70th birthday. So if we did that, we'd like leave from BC, but plan to be there a little first.
That would be awesome. Both the cruise and being able to see you.
So if anyone has any ideas for something other than see a word nerd that we can put in that spot, throw it in the comments and I will give it consideration.
I'm kind of one of the people in like a weird corner of the continent to be seeing people, but I do think I might be able to see Des this year because I am going to Denver.
It's
So
exciting.
I hadn't really like thought about the fact that Des lives in that area, but
Is this like the center space? Is that what we're talking about?
No, that one just says free.
So you could just use it to fill that for anything.
It does seem
So-
strange that I'm not where you are more, though, Kyra, since 5 people related to me live in roughly the same city as you.
I think about that all the time. Like, why do all of Megan's siblings live here? I went to a
get my
concert
brother
with
back
Megan's
toward me.
sister.
Yeah. Kyra had an extra ticket and just went to a concert with my sister.
We had a great time. It was like a little like I kind of hung out with Brooke one time when Megan was there. I don't know that we're like besties, or I mean we're besties now. We went to a concert. together,
Obviously. Yeah. We've bonded now.
but yeah.
Brooke came to one live chat once.
Oh yeah.
She didn't realize we were going to
It
be
was
live.
not
She
like
told
the
me after
first
the fact.
It was not like the first time that I had hung out with Brooke, but it was like
So, goals for 2023.
Yeah.
I want to be more goal oriented again
Mhm.
next year. Like I feel like the past few years has been very like survival mode for me. I made goals. Like I made a personal bingo card last year, but it wasn't really like the stakes felt like nothing. Like it wasn't. I don't care, but I would like to be working towards something.
I may regret this next year because, the last few years have been, you all know how they've been. But I've got 2/3 of a soda in me. I've only got 1 semester left in my program, so soon I'm just gonna have like a job and not be like job and school. So I am, dare I say it, really optimistic about 2023. I'm excited. Hopefully I don't regret that. Don't quote me in a year if I'm miserable.
I thought you were gonna like say a goal, so I was writing it down to like remind you next year, and now it's just Megan is optimistic.
I mean, based on this, I'm not even gonna remember any of this time next year.
Yeah.
Kelly's writing it down.
Kelly's writing it down.
Oh,
Kelly's
I'm
no.
gonna remember that she wrote it down.
I want for tangible, we'll do writing goals because I feel like my professional goals aren't that exciting anymore. It's just kind of keep doing what I'm doing. So I would like to begin querying my vampire novel. Wouldn't say no to a 7-figure book deal, but that's not really in my control. So I'll settle for querying it. And I've been like really excited about this fantasy idea that I have. I would really like to get it plotted by the end of next year because it's going to be really, really big, and I want to give it a lot of time to develop.
I love that so much.
So
Yeah, I said earlier that I'm pushing back my goal to revise my book for next year. So I definitely want to do that. But I'd also like to at least play around with a new idea because I haven't done that since like middle of last year. So it'd be fun to work on something new again.
Griswold wants to write, revise, submit. Valerie wants to convince my BFF to join at least at Camp Nano. That's exciting, if not the full event.
Nice.
That'd be a cool goal. Like convince someone new to try Nano.
I don't know enough new people to do that.
We already have 2 Nano goals for the card, so
I think for next year, something I really fallen off the wagon for this year is like I used to do like morning pages. So I'd sit down and like write down what I wanted to do for the day and how my writing was going and like sort of talk through it on the page. And that was really helpful. And I don't know why it dropped off, but like through most of this year, I feel like I have not done that. And as a result, I feel a lot more scatterbrained. So I think next year I'd like to pick up that habit again and try to stick to it. And then of course for like major writing goals, I really want to finish the Saint Death book I'm working on, but it is an epic fantasy and it's going to be very, very long. So I don't know. I'm unfamiliar with how much time I need to give myself for that, but I'm gonna try to have the goal of finishing it and maybe having it to submit next year at some point, late next year, maybe. I don't know. It's a tentative goal.
I have been kind of trying to figure out what I'm doing for goals. I like have this year and like really the past couple of years like been writing so much and like in a like to a point where I'm not really taking the breaks I probably need, or like just pushing myself a little too hard. So like I've been trying to kind of figure out like how to balance having a little more like space for myself and just like not overworking myself with like also still wanting to make progress and having like a number of ideas I'm very excited about. So I think, yeah, still kind of figuring that out, but loosely I want to have another book queryable next year. I'm not totally sure what that's going to be. I'm just kind of anticipating the one I'm querying now, not getting an agent based on its current performance. So I want to do that, whatever that's going to look like. And then I do want to try writing an adult book. I have not done that before, but I have an idea and want to venture into that realm a little bit.
Nice.
Man, I had it in my head. Oh, Kelly, did you say what you want to do?
I don't know yet.
I've been like reading all this fantasy and I was like, oh, this is going to be totally new, unexpected for me. And then you said that, Erin, and I was like, oh yeah, Erin's been talking in writing group all year about this huge epic fantasy.
This year
Never an
has
original thought. I just do what my friends' collective brain cells also do.
I feel like that's really common for writers. All the time, I'll be like, I had this great idea for a new project, and it'll be like, wait, no,
Was that
that
your
was
great
Megan's idea. That character name is Megan's character name. Oops.
But then we just keep it because that's what writing friends are all about, baby.
Yes. Exactly. I'm pretty sure you see that in like actual published books, like of writer friends, and be like, oh, they're using the same phrase a lot. Oh, they're besties in real life. This is okay. They share the same brain cell. Yeah, it's funny trying a completely new category like adult, like Kyra was saying, you must try adult as well. And it's like, I just started getting into reading more adult fantasy in particular and getting like wrapping my brain around how like sprawling and like, I was going to say generous, I guess the world building is, right? And it's like, I realize I have no idea for setting goals how much time this will take. So I feel like throwing my brain off. Could be 1 year, could be 2 years. Should I shoot for 2024? I don't know. It was Samantha Shannon who said her book Priory of the Orange Tree took like 4 years to write or something.
I mean, I can't believe it only took 4. Honestly.
Oh, yeah. That thing is like 2 Bibles stuck together. Like,
yeah, I'm like 250 pages in, and it's amazing. Like, it's great, but wow, it's a lot.
I'm like, and then she did it again. It's unreal.
And did it again. What?
yeah. But like,
While also balancing another wildly successful series.
that's what I was gonna say. I don't know how she does that, and then something else. I don't know if I could. She must be writing.
I bet for the right advance check, I could do it.
Valid point.
It would take me a long time to get that good to be to the point where someone would pay me enough to be able to devote all that time to it.
Yeah. And brain power, just like developing a world that intense. It's a someday goal.
Yeah. I do feel like I think Kyra, you kind of touched on this, had previously in my mind this very like gotta grind, you know, like I need to be coming out with 1 book each year so that I'm querying something every year, or else I'm not doing all that I can be doing to make sure that I reach my publishing goals. And I feel like this year has been very much for me figuring out how to chill in that regard and just have more fun and be fine with publishing taking a while, and understanding that me taking time isn't really going to make it take any longer.
I'm also working on that. Megan's doing it more successfully. No, I mean, we did have this conversation, Megan and I, recently, where I was kind of talking about like, I just feel like I'm high strung about writing. And in fairness, like when I like, to Megan's point of like writing a book a year, like that was like literally a
That
thing
was
people
the
told me,
advice.
is that if you wanted to be viable, particularly in Kidlit, you wrote a book a year.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to like deprogram some of this, and like Megan like made this very helpful point. It's like, no, like you are doing better. It's just that like when you're like up here, down here is still better, but you're like we're just gonna try and keep like knocking that down to like a reasonable level of grind.
I think maybe this was, I can't remember. Again, this year has felt like simultaneously a million years, and also it went by really fast. I can't remember a lot of things that happened at the beginning of the year, but it might have been this year that I finally figured out that I can only work on one book at a time. I think I was talking about this earlier with writers group, so it may have been earlier this year. But yeah, it's definitely a case of like, I need to be done a book before I can dedicate my brain power to another book fully. So not so much a goal, but a lesson learned, I think.
Okay, so a few comments I want to catch up on. Headphone Books wants to complete some unfinished series on their shelves because it started so many. I want to complete. Solid goal. Emmy would like to join Book Talk and try to make some more book friends, which is a very, very cool goal. Joe Catherine wants to make a goal of carving out time for myself to actually write. Solid goal. Sometimes easier said than done. So actually like making it an official goal, I think is pretty helpful. And Griswold, so I need to push the Priory of the Orange Tree to the top of my TBR. I'm considering doing that also. I almost bought the audiobook because it was on sale for like $5 and I didn't. But I also kind of feel like maybe I want to like get a physical copy. I don't know.
I'm kind of having fun with the physical copy. I know I won't shut up about it, but
But I know I won't like bring it anywhere.
oh no, it's a by the bed book.
It is not don't take it on a plane.
Yeah, so
No.
Abby's unexpected success of the year was reading Priory this week.
This
Started
week.
Thursday and finished today.
Ooh.
Did not see that coming.
Wow, yeah.
Icon.
Impressive.
Jeez. I was going to say that Priory is a book that can take a while. Like, it's enjoyable, but like I did have times where I put it down for a few days in between picking it up again, but never mind.
Yeah, and like that feeling of getting sucked into a huge fantasy book, so cool. So like I just live in this world now. And Griswold would like to create an activity book for writing, like a warm-up activity to get the creative juices flowing. I'd meant to check back in about the email we got from Griswold last week.
Yeah, I forgot to.
We will talk about that in post chat.
Yes.
With the chaos of me getting back from Florida, things got a little chaotic, but we're good.
They did.
I really like Joe Catherine's goal about like carving out time to write. I think that might be something I think about is like how much time per week I want to carve out. Because like I think I need to like intentionally carve out time for writing, or else it's like not going to happen these days. So I also would like to like carve out some time each week for like sitting down and reading a physical book. Because kind of similar to Megan reading Priory, like I've been reading The Lord of the Rings as like a physical book. And it's been like really fun to just like sit down and read these like long chapters in a long fantasy book before bed. And so I like to make that a priority and like not only read audiobooks.
I'm gonna be honest,
made
my
one of
Goodreads
my-
goal for next year is gonna be like 5 books.
Nice.
Like that is.
I believe in you.
Now.
Support that.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this last week because we were doing our reading wrap up, but I hit like a major writing slump, and I'm like close enough to my goal now that I'm like, I'm just gonna push through get it this year. But like I do want to like next year just set like such a low goal that it's like if I'm reading something, it's just like
A win.
Oh yeah, just well, and just because like I really wanted to read that book and not because I'm like trying to keep up with my Goodreads goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
almost down to 52 books as a goal.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go down to like 50 or 52 or something.
I think I'm gonna put like a set, like Emma was saying, carve out like a specific time for reading, like regardless of what I'm reading. Because a lot of time I'll be like, yeah, I need to start that book, and then nighttime comes, my kid is in bed, and I'm like, great, I can do whatever I want, and I'm lazy, and I'll sit down and turn on the TV.
And it's like what you get like 2 hours to yourself.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'll even like get out a book and sit down on the couch and start scrolling TikTok. Like
Yes,
there
oh
was
my gosh,
one
I do that
night
too.
there was one night last week that I was like, oh, I'm gonna go like sit in bed and read. And I forgot my phone was like in another room. And so I didn't have it with me. And I read like 2.5 chapters of the Fellowship of the Ring, which are like they're long chapters. I was so
Mhm.
angry. I was like, wow, I'm so productive when I don't have my phone.
Yeah. My thing is Reddit. Like I'll literally be like, oh, I'm just gonna check Reddit real quick before I get on and read this chapter of the book. And then it's like an hour passes and I'm like, well, that was all the time I had for reading. So thanks for that phone. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I've found really helpful for me in the vein of like carving out time as a goal is instead of doing like a daily goal, aiming for like a weekly goal. Like, oh, I'd love to make time to sit down and read a chapter a week or something. Because I know for me, if I miss a day, I'm like, well, that's a wrap on the year, guys. We didn't do it.
Weirdly
that's a
enough,
chill goal.
chill goals are good. Weirdly enough, one of the things I discovered that works for me is actually reading in the bath, because I'm too paranoid that I'll drop my phone in the water. So I will not allow myself to bring my phone with me. So I only have a paper copy of a book.
That's
So-
why I don't bring Priory with me to the bath, because it's
Yes,
big.
no.
I don't want to
Well,
buy a new copy of it if I drop
Also, if you drop it on yourself, that
you
would
might
be-
never get out.
Yeah, you would drown.
It'll expand and just dunk you.
Weigh you down. Yeah. How did Megan die? Oh,
R.I.P.
crushed to death under a copy of Priory of the Orange Tree.
She's gonna haunt us all. She already told us.
I already made that promise.
Oh dear.
I think with goals, it like is really cool when you kind of get to a stage where you have figured out at least a little bit what works for you, because like different things do work for different people. So like Megan was saying, she does better with like kind of these chill weekly goals. I do better with daily goals because like for me, if I miss a day, then I usually just forget about it and move on. But if I like feel like I have this weekly goal like looming over me, it like I don't know, stresses me out. Like Mondays are always like my most like high stress day because I always like on Monday I'm like, these are all the things I got to do this week. I got to do them today. So just like knowing how your brain works and
Yeah.
Totally.
Because
Yeah.
like
to
doing
try
all
and
my
accommodate
goals
it.
in weekly format, like anything that isn't time specific, has been huge for me. Because like I start out Monday kind of like that, but excited and not stressed of like, I'm gonna win the week. I'll just get everything done now. I don't have to do anything else. It never goes like that, but that is my Monday energy. So the mix of flexibility and like being able to balance my enthusiasm. And if I can like get momentum going on Monday, it will be a really solid week. Versus if I don't, I still feel like I have some wiggle room and don't quite throw the whole week out.
I think it's definitely like a case of, I often have these like big shiny goals, even if it's, a week goal, I'm going to read a book this week. It won't necessarily happen unless I like boil that goal down to smaller steps and be like, okay, so I'm going to read every morning. Like I'll sit down at 9 and till 10 will be my reading time with breakfast or whatever. So if I give myself it's a routine thing. Like if I put it into my daytime routine, I know I'll stick to it. So it can't be like a vague, like I'm going to read more or I'm going to journal more. No, I need to like set a rule for myself essentially into my schedule or it won't happen at all.
Yeah. I think for me, I find a lot of value in having like the very like, oh, I want to begin querying a book. Like that's a very tangible, either I'm going to do that or I'm not. And but I also find a lot of value in choosing like themes for the year. So like last year, the general thing I really wanted to do was like find joy in writing and the publishing journey again. And while I haven't done that perfectly, I do feel like I thought about that a lot this year, and I do feel like I made some progress on it in ways that I might not have like 4 years ago when I was every goal has to have a number, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I do like that. And like, I think also because the whole like finding joy in your writing was really meaningful for me as well. And I think one of the things that helped that, because you're right, it is kind of a goal, but it also is kind of a theme for the year. And like one of the reasons that sunk in for me as well was because it was you, me, and Kyra who like got together and talked about that and talked about our feelings about that. And having a group to kind of reinforce that and talk about that and remind each other throughout the year was also really helpful. I think that's one of the reasons that made an impact on me, at least. So I don't know, that's something to think about for like if you want to choose a theme for next year, get together and talk about it and what it means to you and how you're gonna think about that going forward, you know?
Yeah. And I think talking to people too, like you said, is really, really helpful, because then you have someone to kind of call you on it when you're doing something the opposite. So like with a lot of my goals last year, it involved a lot of not necessarily like boundary setting, but like being real with myself about what things I could commit to and what things were draining me. And having people who I could like message and be like, hey, I'm thinking about, I know I said that I didn't want to be as involved in like the technical side of things, but now I'm getting the itch to be in control of them again, and then having someone be like, remember how you said you wouldn't though? And so you're like, oh yeah, you're right. You're so right.
And it's so great to have people who you can not only do that with, but who have like there's like a really fine point of like, like gently like nudging you towards like, no, you said you weren't going to do that, or like, well, because like no one's going to be perfect with their goals, where like you find people who like give you the grace you need to not fit your goals perfectly and aren't like mean when you're not achieving them, but who can also kind of like bring you back to center. Like that's
for sure.
so valuable to have.
For sure. And just support for your goals in general as well. Yeah, it's important. I don't know, it'd almost be an idea to have like a goal check-in chat or something. Like I really like the idea of having it not just, you can have a solid goal for the year, but have a theme for the year as well, like Megan said. Like I don't know, it could even be the same goal, like finding the meaning in writing for you, finding the joy, because that was like such a healthy mindset. So maybe like a mindset for the year. This is the mindset I want to have for the year. Yeah, your intention for the year. I really like that. Yeah.
I also, you weren't here last week. I'm so sorry. I can't remember whose idea this was. So let me know if it was your idea in chat. But last week someone talked about maybe doing like a monthly or quarterly reading wrap up where everyone does a brief like slideshow pitch of like one of the books they read that quarter. And I'm so excited. I haven't been able to stop thinking about that idea. I'm really excited about it.
I really enjoyed the writers group idea of doing a PowerPoint presentation for the idea you're having, even if the PowerPoint presentation is like, this is the vibe and I don't know what else. There's only vibes. Somebody tell me what to write about.
Recently, we'd also talked about doing like, instead of book club, like slideshows as like pitching books. Which could be I guess goals for the channel might be I don't like it's really to just make it to the 10th anniversary, but is there anything we want to do next year?
Oh yeah, goals for the channel.
If we're still standing, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But I do want to do like, we've talked about a lot of different slideshow nights. So making something like that happen would be cool.
A slideshow night.
I'd love to find a few new things like that book thing that I'm just really excited about doing and putting onto the internet. I don't think it's been a secret to anyone who watches that I've struggled a lot with like content creation this year. That's been something that I've had a hard time finding like a peaceful spot with. And so I'd love to find a few more things this year that I'm really excited to be involved in, beyond just our friendship, because obviously I'm like really excited about that. And I love coming and chatting with friends and getting to chat with people in the discussion section who I wouldn't get to chat with normally otherwise. Join our Discord if you want, if you're a regular watcher. But yeah, so the book idea. I'd love to edit a video, which it's going to be the 10-year anniversary, so I'm going to do a video. I'm excited to edit something again.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, because this was definitely not a goal. It just kind of happened. Like, I pretty much went off of all social media this year. I think it was already happening slowly and steadily last year. And then this year, I just dropped everything except Instagram and this channel, obviously. But like we said, this channel is pretty much just like, here's our friendship, and we talk about writing sometimes.
This is our friendship. We decided it needed to be on air.
On air.
We thought you would also be interested in our friendship. And chatting with the people that with the other word nerds, of course. The awesome people that hang out with us in the comments and the chat room.
It was really cool getting some, because in order to get into our Discord, you need to like add me on Discord. And so I've had a couple people being like, I can't usually come on Sundays, but I watch you all guys all the time and looking
That's
for anybody.
awesome.
And I've loved that. I was like, oh, we didn't even know you were here and our friend, but you totally are.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And
I would love.
obviously-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ah, you go.
No, you. No, I was just saying I would love to find something next year that I would actually enjoy as far as social media, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I'd have to do a lot of research or like poke around a bunch of different platforms, and I don't know if I'm willing to do that or not. Yeah, I don't know.
What I've discovered this year is the only thing that brings me joy on social media is leaving social media. Just like locking like 50 people in a room with me. Like, you can leave if you want, but no one else gets in.
Oh.
Yeah. I enjoy being on social media, and like it's generally a pretty positive thing in my life, but like this year I pulled back a lot from like doing TikToks and stuff, because like living in a chaos house, the stress of trying to be consistent with social media was a lot. So
Yeah. I guess that's more like, I like being on social media, but I like participating in it rather than creating for it. Like, I found a lot of joy in just being a participant in a lot of communities this year,
mhm.
as opposed to like, oh, well, I'm on Twitter, so I need to be trying to build a Twitter following in addition to participating.
Mm-hmm. What I would actually love to do is figure out a way, maybe next year, to put something that I love about writing into social media in a way that works for me. Like, I've even had ideas like, oh, I would love to do the whole Maggie Stiefvater thing and write a short story per week, even if it's a really, really short one. And then I was like, oh, it would be so cool if someone could narrate that and, I don't know, stick up like, those little, they're like GIFs or whatever. It's just like a repeating image of something that's like rain falling. I'm like, if someone's narrating that, or there's words that come on the screen, and I'm like, I'd love to be able to figure out how to do something like that, where I could use writing and then just send it to someone and be like, please make this look pretty. But, who knows? Maybe I'll find a way to trade with somebody. I'll be like, I'll write stuff for you if you will help me with this. I don't know. I have ideas like that all the time. And then I know that if I try to do them, I will irritate myself.
I've kind of had a weird journey with social media this year, as I'm thinking about it. And like, actually not in a bad way. So my Twitter following kind of blew up this year. I don't track it closely enough to know exactly where I was followers wise at the beginning of the year, but like I know it has grown substantially. I crossed 5,000 followers like a month ago, which is like weird. I don't like think 5,000 people even exist. That number, like that to me was like a number that I'm like, this does not feel like a real number of people watching me or paying attention to me. And kind of that evolved because I've accidentally become like the Twitter expert on writing and mental health, which has been interesting in a lot of ways, but it is something that I do really enjoy talking about and feel like very authentic. Like I have experiences I can bring that aren't for everyone, but for people who have kind of experienced some of the same things I have in terms of writing, I think it's been like really great to make some of those connections. And I feel like it's like a beneficial way for me to sort of network. Twitter, as we all know, is like an experience. There's a lot on Twitter. But I also feel like I'm, still sometimes kind of get sucked into some of the stuff that happens there. But I also feel like much more confident in how I manage it and just like feeling like, I pick my battles on Twitter and I don't pick very many of them. But when I do, like, I feel very confident in the things I say. And that's just made it so that like, I feel like I've kind of found my niche and what's working for me and have kind of developed like, this is how I'm going to handle my Twitter. And so that's been kind of interesting for me this year. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to find some kind of niche, but I don't know. I feel like I get onto a platform and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And I'm pumped. And then I'm like, this is too much work. I regret this.
Aside from like this channel, any other social media, I just find myself getting really swallowed up in the time of the creation of it. And it's like,
Exactly.
what am I building a platform for if I'm not finishing novels, Like, so cutting back on a lot of that. And not even that I was putting out that much, but letting go of that pressure to do all those things, to be creating things has, I feel like, led to more meaningful writing creation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we feeling like this is a pretty good place to wrap for the year?
Sounds good.
I think so.
It's going to be a good year. I can feel it.
Megan is optimistic.
Better not let me down. I won't make this mistake twice.
And
Oh, we have
Griswold,
a question.
and Griswold said, have you heard of the GTD, getting things done method? When I remember to do it, I find it's a great way to consider the next step for your goals, and it helps see my goal. Help me to see my goals moving forward. I have not. I will absolutely be looking that up.
I'm already Googling it.
Read it out loud.
I love a good method.
Getting
Yes.
things done is a
Give me a
personal
formula. Sorry.
productivity system written by some dude. Let's see the themes. There are sources of stress that come from open loops, incompletes, or stuff. So like the most annoying, distracting, or interesting task is chosen and defined as an incomplete. A description of the successful outcome.
And Griswold says there's a book, but just watch the YouTube video. I think maybe we'll
Okay. Phew. Next year thing.
Yeah,
I'm
we're trying
already
to summarize. I think it's going to be bigger than that.
obsessing over it.
Well, thank you all for a wonderful year on this channel. It has been a wild ride and so much fun, and we love talking to all of you. I really hope the Discord channel continues to be a thing going into 2023. And if maybe at some point we'll start up a discussion over there about if there's anything you guys would like us to do over next year. What was fun? Should we bake more? I don't know.
Yes, we should. That's
I
not
feel like
even
the
a
answer to that is
question.
always yes.
Yes, that's
Or
content I like
baking.
making.
I also want to do a paint night at some point. I will
Yes,
get organized on that.
Oh my god.
So yes, thank you all so much for everything. It has been a wonderful year. You all accomplished so much in your writing. for a lot of us, I feel like seeing all of you write so many books and win Nano, and just like that has kept the writing energy going for all of us. So thank you for everything you do. We love all of you, and we will be back next year early on in one of the first Sundays, depending on how the calendar shakes out. So we will see you all then. Happy holidays, and thank you again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.